Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with The Joker #1. I thought that this series, it's a new ongoing series. I thought it was just going to be something to throw away. Just sadly, like with a lot of modern books where they'll be like new ongoing series and it lasts like maybe 7 issues or there's no real substance to it. I could be no wronger just to say it in that respect. This was excellent. It takes place in the aftermath of the Joker War. And we go back in time, and I like that Tynion actually gives a nod to what Frank Miller set up, where Jim came from Chicago, came with a bad rep because he got people written up for taking bribes, and how he wanted to make sure that the corruption within the police force was diminished. So this is his last night in Chicago. He's sitting at this place called Abernathy's Bar, kind of really down in the dumps because he's talking about how being transferred to Gotham, all the people on the Chicago police force said, well, maybe we'll send him to hell, send him to Gotham, maybe they'll set him straight. But while he's sitting there, there's this voiceover of this man saying, Jim, tell me this. You old enough to get your boogeyman? And you're thinking, what? What? But that, for me, that's slang where, cops coming to, closer to retirement talk about how they never got the one that case, never got to close the case that haunted them. And that's what this guy, Danny Ryan, is talking about. And he's like, boogeyman, yeah, the perp you see when you close your eyes at night. The one who is worse than the others. And Jim, at this point, he's young. He goes, I've seen some rough things, Danny. Here, man in the war. I figured you're too young still. Now check this out. I'm not going to read everything, but I want to set the stage of what this book's about. Danny says, there's a horror to war I'm never going to understand. I'm not going to insult you by pretending. But at least in war, there's that knowledge that people have been going to battle as long as there's been people. There's a sick sense to it all. But it's different on the home front, on the streets, when you see the barbarianism where it's not meant to be. And so Jim's kind of saying, I'm going to leave because he's getting uncomfortable. Now this next part is graphic, FYI. Yeah, sure. You're so young. I can't stand it. This is all hypothetical to you. But you still think this is a game. That it matters that you brought down a few guys on the take. You're just kids playing cops and robbers. And then he talks about, I was just a few years older than you when I saw the devil. He was eating the face off of a 17-year-old girl. Sorry, guys. And we just get this brutal scene of this cannibal eating this poor girl's face. And if you want to read all of that, pick up this book. Jim's like, why are you telling me this? He said, there's law. There's respecting the system as it's supposed to work. But there's the law. And there's evil, Jim. And when you see evil, you aim for the head. Whew. Now, the reason I wanted to go into all that is because that really sets up this book. Because Jim says, I thought he was just kind of chastising me for only wanting to clean up the police force because we're supposed to be the last line of defense. But then Jim says, I came to Gotham, and now I see the devil each night when I close my eyes. And that's where we get the Joker. And so we see Jim trying to sleep. We get this twisted look of an homage to the Killing Joke. So this is the Joker. James Tynion IV writer, Guillem March doing the art, Arif Prianto doing colors, Tom Napolitano doing the lettering, and Batman was created by Bill Finger with Bob Kane. And then we get into the story called A-Day, which, if this happened in a prior issue, let me know, because I've been reading Batman since Tynion took over, and I have not seen this A-Day anywhere yet. So feel free to set the record straight on that. And apparently from this A-Day, a bunch of major villains have died, which I call BS. And I thought maybe because this is supposed to be Infinite State or whatever, I thought maybe this was a parallel universe. But then I went back and double checked, and this follows the story of the killing, not the Killing Joke. What am I thinking? The story of the Joker War. So this is all within this universe. And I like how Jim says, I want to do something good with my life. Barbara tells me to close my eyes and picture the future I want for myself. But when I close my eyes, I hear laughter. And I like how the Joker is just, like, we haven't seen him yet. It's just him haunting people and the impact that he's left on this city. And even Jim says, he's like, I don't even recognize my city anymore. I see people wearing Punchline shirts, people dressing as clowns to induce intimidation. And he even talks about what, the Killing Joke when the Joker paralyzed Barbara. He even goes further with what happens with Jim Gordon Jr. And look at the terrifyingness of how in Gordon's mind, the evil that is Jack Napier, that is the Joker. And that is just a twisted piece right there. And it really impacts what you're feeling while you're reading this. So after you get all this, like, whoa, like this heaviness, we're introduced to this girl called, I think, Crescenda, and she says she wants to talk about the Joker. So she's talking about how they've located him in Belize, I think is how you pronounce it. If not, I apologize. And what she wants to do is she wants to hire Jim Gordon to track the Joker down and ultimately kill him. What's the incentive? I don't want to give away. But what I do want to add here, we believe your personal connection to the Joker and your experience make you a better choice than a hitman. Why would you think that I'd agree to this? And I like how deadpan she looks at him. Do you believe in evil, Jim? Now, before I reveal these next two panels, so this obviously echoes back to the beginning. And I remember how that Danny character was saying, oh, you're young. And how Jim was saying, I don't understand what he was saying at the time. But now Cressida, however many years later, says, do you believe in evil? And plus you can see that Gordon is a much older man. He even makes a reference about why he looks older now. So make sure to read that because it's really cool how they tie that in. But I just like this deadpan stare. And then the resolve. Yes, I do. Whew! Oh, that hits hard. Now, I don't want to give the rest of this away. We do get a backstory that covers the trial with Punchline. So after her one shot, which we have gone over, I just totally forgot about it. She's in the can meaning the joint, the prison. And on the outside, it's Leslie Tompkins and Harper Row who are trying to take her down, but all the witnesses keep ending up dead. And, remember from the Punchline one shot, which I'll make sure to leave a card somewhere for you guys to click on it. Remember how she acted this sweet, innocent victim and people empathized for her. But when she's provoked, I like how she goes, you know why they call me Punchline? And you just look at that. I think that's why we like Punchline. Not so much from the fact that she's a good character, because she is evil. But I think that's why we like her, is because after Flashpoint, DC really took Harley Quinn down the dump. They basically turned her into DC's Deadpool, and she's not funny. She's supposed to be a femme fatale, just like Ivy, just like Catwoman, and now we got our own new murderous femme fatale, which is Punchline. So I'm really, really loving what James Tynion is doing with Batman right now. It is so great. Each issue you pick up and he's attached to it, Even if you go back to the beginning of Rebirth with Detective Comics, he friggin' hit it out of the park with that, and he's doing that with this Joker series. I didn't think I was going to get issue 2. I thought this was going to be just some trash. I love when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. This was excellent. I highly, 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 highly recommend this, especially since these are Batman characters, and Batman's maybe in like a panel or 2 of this book, and it still holds strong. That's when you know a book is good. So if you've enjoyed this, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little punchline bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the channel, and we love to hear your feedback and talk with y'all, and just shoot the breeze down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.